Hello everybody, so I'm back. I know I haven't done a video in quite some time, that being because I did give birth to a lovely baby boy. I'm so excited to have welcomed him into this world. It's been amazing. I've spent about 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks with him now, and he has just brought so much life into our family. I mean, Dean loves him. We all love him, let's be real. He's such a great little guy. So I wanted to come on here and do a labor and delivery video because someone did ask for it, and I thought, hey, it would be fun. Because my stories are always kind of crazy, I'll sort of touch on Dean's story a bit because I'll sort of explain as to why things happened the way they did. Anyways, so it was, let's see, October, I think it was the day before, the 20th. So on October 20th, I had an appointment with my OB. She checked me and everything, and because I was running like very close to my due date, they were talking about, you know, inducing me and all this stuff. So I was like, okay. And then the OB, when I went in and saw her, she told me that she wanted to do a sweep. We did a sweep. After the sweep, she did say that I might experience some spotting and stuff. I didn't have any spotting or anything. I did have cramping though. So I was dealing with the cramping thinking maybe it's normal, although she had told me that she wouldn't be surprised because I was 3 centimeters when she did the sweep and checked. She did tell me that it is possible for me to go, and she wouldn't be surprised if I went into labor either that night or the next day. So I was sort of a little bit on edge, and because my birthing story with Dean was so crazy, basically I was at the hospital for 4 minutes before I gave birth to him. The whole labor was really fast. I was in labor for maybe 6 hours. So because of that, she had told me once I do go into labor, I need to get to the hospital. Forget about waiting, just get to the hospital. Any cramping, anything, just get to the hospital. So when I was having that cramping, I was kind of like on edge, right? Because I was like, should I be at the hospital? Am I going to give birth? I was, of course, at my son's gymnastics, at Dean's gymnastics while this was happening, and I was like, so while I was there, I called the hospital. The hospital said, oh, well, just keep an eye on it, and if it gets worse, let us know. So I was like, okay. And they said it might be pre-labor contractions or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I dealt with it. They sort of trickled off, though, through the evening. Then the next morning, so this being the 21st of October, I woke up, everything was okay. Then, you know, hours went by and I wasn't feeling much movement. So I was kind of getting really like antsy and nervous, and I didn't know what was going on because I had that cramping. And so I went to my mom's, of course, and she was like, let's just go to the hospital. Forget about calling, forget about anything. Let's just get to the hospital, just because I guess, you know, my whole experience previously, she's like, better to be at the hospital, at least they check you out, and we'll see if everything's okay. Okay, so we head to the hospital, which is not that far away from where I live, and we get there, and of course the secretary's not there, so we sit and we're waiting for a bit, and then finally the secretary comes, or whoever comes. And then one of the nurses takes me in and puts a monitor on me and is checking the movement. He's moving fine. I guess I just wasn't feeling the movement. And then they get the doctor to come in just to check. I guess it's probably protocol. And the doctor comes in and he took my history. So I told him, and of course they have my file from my OB as well. So I told him how fast my previous labor was and how quickly like Dean was born. And I didn't even feel anything, and it was just like sort of boom, he was there. So he was like, well, given the previous circumstance, he's like, I don't feel comfortable sending you home because I don't want you coming back in an ambulance and having a similar experience to previous. And I was like, yeah, I really would prefer not to have that type of experience again. So he said, okay, let me break your water and then we'll go from there. He left. I got all registered in the hospital and all this stuff. Then I was getting a little antsy because I was like, oh my God, baby's coming. So anyways, we registered and everything, and then I was waiting. The doctor came, he broke my water. Most awkward thing in the world. Oh my God, I definitely preferred my water breaking on its own. It was really, really strange when he broke my water, but anyways, he broke the water, and after that, like, instantly the contractions started. So I started having the contractions. They were, I don't know how far apart, but they weren't that close together. I can't remember, oh my God. Anyways, they weren't too far apart. So I was going through them, everything was fine. I didn't want the epidural, and I was open to the fact that if I was having severe pain, I would get the epidural, but I really did not want the epidural. So I sort of just in my brain was like, okay, let me rate the pain as I'm going through these. And I never got to that point where I was like, I need something, give me something. So that was just a plus because I really didn't want to have to go through that. So I was going through the contractions, then the nurse came in, she said, why don't you go for a walk or whatever. So I was like, okay. So by this point, they were quite close. Okay, 1 second, missed a whole part. I should tell you guys that he broke my water around, or my contractions started shortly after my water was broken, and I think that was around 3 o'clock. Once those contractions started, the nurse said, go for a walk, do something. So I went for a walk. I mean, I was having the contractions like no tomorrow, like walking down the hallway and like everything. So that was fun. And then I was like, no, let's just go back to the room. It's a lot easier. I'll walk around the room if anything. So we get back to the room. Fast forward now to about, so now my contractions started getting really close together. I started getting so bad. I mean, I was like hot flashes, like I was getting so hot, and I do not remember any of this from with Dean. I was going through the contractions again all on my own, not in a hospital, at my parents' house, so it was completely different. But I sort of felt the motions more, I find, this time around. I don't know if that's because I was in a hospital and I was watching the clock and I was seeing them come and go. And they brought me a whole freaking like nice meal, which I was hungry. Don't get me wrong, I was hungry, but I was scared to eat. So all I had was a couple bites of mashed potatoes, and then a little while after, I just puked everywhere. And I didn't think, I don't know, I actually heard a study just that they did saying that it's okay for women to eat during labor. But I don't know. And then when I threw up, the nurse was saying that that's a good thing. It's sort of saying that I'm getting close to giving birth. I don't know. It was strange. And I know I did throw up with Dean, and it was the same thing. I had tried to have a bite of toast. It was just toast. And same thing. I puked it all up. So I would not recommend eating. I don't know why I did it both times, but I did. The first time it was sort of me just making the decision. Second time, I mean, it was the hospital that made the decision. But anyway, after I puked, no doubt, the nurse was kind of right. She was actually leaving her shift, and she was like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Because I guess some women are going through labor through the night, like 36 hours, crazy amounts of time. So I guess it's not that uncommon for these nurses to leave their shift and come back and the same person still be there. So anyways, she left around, it probably was like 6:45 or so. I want to say it was really close to 7, if not like almost 7 o'clock. Another nurse came in, and this is where it gets crazy. So it's around 7:20ish, I guess, 7:15, let's say. And oh my God, I screamed for my life. Like the whole time I was not screaming, I was on nothing. I was dealing with my contractions. I'm very like, low key during my pregnant labors, very low key. And nobody knows that I'm really going where I am in my labor, I think, because at some point I was going through a contraction and then I just had to scream because I could feel baby, like baby was there, and nobody was around except my mom and like my fiance and all that. So I was like, ah, I was like, get somebody, the baby's coming. And like, honestly, I could feel the crown of the head right there. And I was like, it's gonna just plop on the table. So my mom and everybody ran to get someone. The nurses come trickling in like no tomorrow. And then they had sort of set up things already, but they still had to put on their gloves and all that jazz, and there was no time for this. And then they had to put my legs up on the stirrups. So the doctor also comes in. The nurses are trying to get me ready, putting my legs on the stirrups. The doctor's saying, hold, hold, hold. I cannot hold for the life of me. Like, one push and this baby is going to be out. I'm trying my best to hold. The one nurse is yelling, I can see the head. And the other nurses are like putting my legs up on the stirrups. I'm like, hello, how do you want me to hold if you're putting my legs up? Because this baby's just gonna come flying out. And that's exactly what happened. They put one leg up, and then when the other leg went up, I was like, it's coming. And like the doctor barely had his gloves on, caught the Massey and threw him on my stomach, and he was there. It was like crazy, crazy, crazy. Once I pushed, he was out. That was it. And no ripping, no episiotomies, nothing needed. So I was so happy. One of the nurses, poor girl, she was trying to help and she didn't have gloves on either. She was the one, I guess, who was supposed to take the baby and weigh the baby and all that stuff. But anyways, he came out so quickly and so beautifully, and I'm so blessed to have two beautiful boys in my life, Dean and Massey. That's the name we decided to go with, Massey. He is a beautiful, beautiful little angel. I love him to death. I love Dean too. They are just my everythings now. I'm not gonna lie, life has completely changed and it's so hectic around here. I don't know how other moms do it. Dean is a lot of help. You know, he's very understanding too, which helps a lot. He's a good boy. But that's pretty much the whole story. It was quite interesting. So Massey was born October 21st, 2015 at 7:21. And the Back to the Future, the date they had put in the time machine was October 21st at 2015 at 7:27, I believe, or 28. So yeah, I'm so happy he came out. He was a small baby. He was 6 pounds. 6 pounds 7 ounces, and he was considered a sugar baby because he was below birth weight for being full term or whatever. So we had to stay there 24 hours and they had to check his blood sugars constantly, but everything ended up being fine, no jaundice, nothing. So I was really happy, everybody was happy, and I don't know if you can hear baby, but he needs me. So I'm going to cut this video quite short. I will insert a video of him or a picture of him. I just don't want to put him right out there being such a little guy, but I will insert some pictures and video of him, just some footage so you guys can see. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you all to the moon and back, and I'll talk to you real soon in my next video. Bye!